Hi there, everyone. Shout out to Lady Gaga and her fans. She's just released onto Lady Gaga Vivo the song Joanne, Where Do You Think You're Going? It's mostly a bit of piano. It's really pleasant to listen to. I thought she did a really great job. And, it was very touching. It was about her father's sister, whom she never met. I thought that, it was a very nice thing, because I know that couldn't be easy for anyone. I know in the last few years, she's sort of changed her style up a little bit, rather than just catchy trance type music where it grabs people and it puts them into an intellectually stimulated zone without anything too I'm trying to think of the words here, I can't think of them. But, her music's evolved, is basically the gist of what I'm saying, over the years. And in the last few years, it seems as though she's wanted to take a deeper meaning into what she does, and really mature as a person. 3 years ago, it was her doing some dual work with Tony Bennett. It's not usually the kind of music I'd listen to, but, good on her. 2 years ago, it was Till It Happens to You, a deeply significant song for some people. Very good of her to make that. And it's been over a year since she's made Million Reasons. And, her presence is still there, but she's taken a step back. Because, obviously there were a few years where she was very energetic, very everywhere, and getting a lot done, and, well, a lot of that comes with, heavy partying, and it does a toll on the body, unfortunately. It'll do it to anyone. And, if you're only 5'2", it's really gonna burn you. I watched that documentary, and they say that she's got fibromyalgia. Based on the fact that she's, famous person, celebrity, all that sort of stuff. It's probably true, but, it could just be being worn down from everything you've had to go through. Because it most certainly wasn't a quiet lifestyle, for a number of years. And having injuries like a hip injury, that is really going to throw off your game. But it appears that she's had a really exciting career, and she's not gonna just disappear into the night. There were obviously some concerns. Her rise to fame and ultimately power came in a, kind of a questionable period in American history, where we weren't really sure what direction the country was going to go in. And, a lot of people think they know, but they don't know anything. Because there's so much misinformation being spread, and what people believe and what they hear are not always accurate. So it was a very, very unusual time in history, and because of that, I think it had a big influence on Lady Gaga's career and the direction it went into. It wasn't all good news. It wasn't, all easy for her, and, there were times where it wasn't fair. From what I've observed, I haven't seen a lot, but, I've seen some things, so I kind of got an idea. and I think she did a fantastic job. And, being in the nature of, famous people, celebrity, that whole scene, unfortunately it means that you have enemies no matter what you do. It's unavoidable. There'll be somebody out there who will have a complicated reason why they don't like you and will actively pursue any means of complicating things. And I don't think she deserves that. I mean, obviously things happen, the mob does rule in certain aspects at certain times, and that's beyond anyone's control. I mean, most people have trouble controlling, a party of people who are drunk when there's like 20 of them in the house. No. House of Gaga, there's, millions of people. Very, very difficult to control that. And you can't hold somebody responsible for that. But people will, because it's an excuse for them to not like somebody or this, that, and the other. And unfortunately, with this whole the wave thing and being a celebrity, being a famous person, you can be pushed into directions that otherwise you would not have pursued, indirectly, subliminally, or by any means. And, it's just the way how things turned out. And, obviously it was very hard for her, and I have a lot of respect for that. I'm going to be honest with you. I love the work that she's done, and I think she's a real good person. But the mere thought of how many men she's been with, I mean, there's no polite way to say it. That's kind of gross. I'm sure it's no different from, most other famous people, but, yeah, okay, we're not going to go there. Leave that part out. But I think it's important that, if she wants to, sort of tone down, quiet down, people should let her do that. And not only that, if in the future she feels she's rested up and would like to step back in the spotlight, she should be allowed to do that without going through a lot of hurdles or, going down a path she wouldn't want to do, as an option, I think anyway. Well, I think that would be fair for how hard her career's been. I mean, you look at other people and, their careers were not particularly hard. I mean, the rockers of old, were far less behaved, and they were wild people, wild men mostly, and, life was, in a way, a lot easier for them. I mean, sometimes they died earlier, quite often actually, but that's mostly because of their own stupidity. So I mean, I guess taking things into consideration in the evolution of music, I think people should be a little bit kinder and not cast out judgment, because it's the easy thing to do. That's, my opinion on it anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, yeah, that song, Joanne, Where Do You Think You're Going, I thought that was very, very moving. And, yeah, I guess there's not much more I can add to that, other than, the trolls and the people that don't like her. I would say just leave her alone. Let her do her thing the way she wants to. I don't think she's that bad a person, regardless of, whatever nasty characters have acclimatized around her and, perhaps done things on her behalf, without her knowledge even necessarily. Because, yeah, I guess there's no getting around it. There's some freakazoids around there running around with crazy ideas. And, I know what's going on around in the back scenes of, famous people's lives, but, it's not clear cut. It's not that easy. And some people would argue, well, nor should it be. But, you know, I guess if you're not there, you don't know. But, I just think that, you know, things should be a little bit different, and in the future, people should be a little more accepting of whatever. And I think people like Lady Gaga have built the stepping stones to make that happen, where things aren't unnecessarily hard for future artists, songwriters, musicians, actors, actresses, whomever. And for that, I think she deserves quite a bit of respect. Anyway, I think I'm gonna, you know, end up this video here. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.